Uh, Good morning, everybody, the members of the Governance Committee and staff. I want to thank you all for joining us in today's meeting. I want to call this meeting today at 11:03. Beverly, can you take roll, please? Beverly, anybody there?
I'm sorry, Chairman. I stepped away for a moment. I'm sorry. Roll
Okay.
call, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Chairman Cody,
Present.
Director Emister,
Here.
Director Leggett,
Here.
Director O'Halloran.
Here.
Thank you. Chairman, you have a quorum of the committee.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And I want to say, I want to get a motion that we would need a motion and a second to allow us to go directly into a closed session to discuss personnel and litigation and to allow the chair to execute an affidavit for this session.
So move. Second.
Thank you. Beverly, take us out.
Yes, sir. And I also have Commissioner Lockett on the line. He wanted to let you know that he is present.
All right.
Okay. Chairman Cody,
Yes.
Director Emister,
Yes.
Director Leggett,
Yes.
and Director O'Halloran.
Yes.
Thank you. Chairman, motion passed.
Thank you. Take us into executive session, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yeah.
Mr. Curl, can you provide me with the host credentials again? Chairman.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry, Beverly. I forgot to switch you over here.
That's okay. Chairman, I believe Commissioner Adams.
you. Yes. You present?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, this is Dr. Robinson. Are we currently moving into executive session? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Director Ross. I guess we're waiting on, I guess we having a few technical difficulties. All right.
Helen Stone.
Joined the meeting.
Bobby Lockett.
Joined the meeting.
Okay, thank you. We're going to try this again. Thank you. Okay, we're going into the breakout room now. I'm gonna keep you on my phone. Okay, you hang up, Commissioner. Miss Odell. I'm gonna keep Commissioner Stone on my phone. Okay, well, you just mute your end. Okay, all right.
Bobby Lockett.
Joined the meeting.
Oh,
Hmm. Do we have everybody back?
Yes, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ty.
I just need to let you know that I've got about 5% power left on my phone. So if I disappear, it's not because I'm hanging up, it's because I've exhausted my power.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. All right. I want to let everybody know there was no votes taken into executive session. And with that, we need to take a vote, head count.
No, sir.
oh, I will say for the record, it was very fun.
Thank you. I want to save any announcement that I would have towards the end so we can go straight into the other items as listed on the agenda. Ms. Ragland, it doesn't look like we have any presentations, updates for the governance committee today. I know the regular committees received a brief presentation from our chief safety officer last week. So if you all do not have any questions, I'd like us to move into the next week's proposed consent agenda items. Right now we have, any questions?
No, sir.
Motion we accept the consent agenda as is.
Well, I think we're gonna add an item. Right now we have 5 items requested by the staff to be added to next week, A through E. I received notice that in addition to the 5 items below, staff would like to bring forward to the board to take action on another item, which is a 5310 program application submission. This is an important grant submission for the agency, so I would like to add the item to next week's agenda on the 6th item for the board action. With that, I turn the floor to Ms. Ragland to introduce the items and the action to the board.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may, I have one other item that I'd like the board to consider adding as an action item as well.
All right.
And in light of the president's American Rescue Plan that he signed into law on March 11th, it provides extensions for the FRCA tax credit, and it becomes effective on March 31st through September 30th. So if we did it in April, we would begin behind the time that we could begin, which is March 31st. So therefore, I'm asking that we add it to the agenda for the March 23rd meeting. It's just a matter of updating the current policy since that policy expired in December of 2020. So it's just a matter of me bringing it back to the board for changes to update the policy.
All right, we would like to add that. Beverly?
Yes, sir. Okay, so that'll be our 7th item to the consent agenda.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I have.
All right. So we want to move on to committee updates.
No, we got to vote on the updates.
Let's vote
on the action.
I've got a discussion point for this item currently under discussion.
Mr. Evanston.
Under item B, I'd like to remove that from the consent agenda. I'd also like to request that we increase the pay from $600 to $1,000. I reached out to Val, and I believe I sent you a message, Chairman Cody, about this as well. It would be an extra around $70,000, which I do believe we're in a position to be able to do that. And I'd like us to look into making that happen.
Yeah, we are still looking into that in our budget department.
I have a question.
Yes.
Before we do that, I understand you said we're looking into the budget. I'd like to know how that's going to impact this fiscal year and that fiscal year, that additional 70,000.
Absolutely.
And how the executive salaries that were raised are going to impact the budget this fiscal year and next fiscal year. because I don't think we should talk about increasing it if it's going to mean we got to lay people off in the next fiscal year, which begins in June.
I agree with Director Odell. Let's look into all of that. And I think if that can be part of an emphasis on trying to increase the pay $400 to $1,000 for the hazard pay for operators, that would be prudent.
And that we can add to the budget conversations. I think we should just remove it for now if it's not ready to go.
I think it should be as well.
Yes.
I would like to not remove it, but that's up for y'all to vote on.
I don't think it can be. I don't think it can be discussed until we know the financial impacts of it.
Yeah, that's it.
And I don't think we should make any grandstand measure until we know the exact financial impact of it.
Ms. Ragland, is it possible to have some information on that before the next board meeting?
I will. I do have a meeting tomorrow with the core budget committee.
Okay.
We'll look at that.
All right, thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
So are we leaving it or removing it?
I'd like to remove it from the consent agenda. I don't think we need to vote on that.
I'll make my motion to accept the rest of the consent agenda minus item B.
Second.
Okay. Chairman Cody,
Yes.
Director Emerson,
Yes.
Director Leggett,
Yes.
and Director O'Halloran.
Yes.
Chairman Cody, motion passed
Thank you.
to approve the consent agenda items for March 23rd board meeting.
All right. Do we have any more changes we want to make before moving on? Thank you. All right, next we'll move into the committee updates. If the committee chairs would like to provide any updates from last week's meeting, please do so at this time. We have Director O'Halloran, Director Leggett, and Director Emerson. Dr. Halloran, do you have any updates?
No, we met last week. We talked over a couple of projects that we need to go forward with, like paving the parking lot, a few other things. I've been sitting in as chairman of this committee on the budget meetings. It doesn't look like there's going to be any room for non-fully funded projects to go forward. Right now, we're even with Carissa, we are facing a deficit for the next budget year. So
how much of a deficit? Do you have any idea yet?
Well, the Carissa funds are 4.6 million, and that's being used to balance the budget at this point. But we still haven't completed that, and we'll start those in person or discussions on the 30th with the official board first budget meeting. All the numbers are not quite ready to go, and I know they're meeting tomorrow, so we're almost there.
But at this point, we're facing a deficit.
Yes, well, it depends on how you consider the Carissa funds. They're paying back expenses we've made in the past. So even with those, they were showing a small deficit, but all the numbers will be available. I mean, there's some things that can fluctuate, but as far as my committee, because other than fully funded projects, we're going to be kind of not committed to going with too many improvements over the next year. And we don't know how soon that will alleviate itself. Unfortunately, the budget is a guess. I did have one other question, and that's concerning drivers and hiring. How many drivers are we short right now, Valerie?
HR has advertised, I believe, for seven new operators, although they could really be comfortable with maybe 10.
And when did we plan on starting that particular hiring class?
They're interviewing. They've been interviewing already. They started interviewing last week. So we are in the process of forming a class for training. Interviews
Okay,
are
and
continuing.
that's all fixed?
These are actually paratransit.
Okay, because I know we're short some fixed drivers and we really are probably going to have to wait till we hear from the city as to when they want to restart, because I know all of those drivers are working fixed routes. And if we're short, we're going to need to hire and train. How long does that take?
For the fixed route, it takes up to 3 months to complete the process. If they have already obtained the CDL before hiring, it's a little less. But if they have to obtain CDL licensing, then up to 3 months.
Okay, then we're going to have to make sure we let the city know, because I think they mentioned giving us 2 weeks notice.
Oh,
as far as
they are
starting
aware.
up
They're
Okay.
already aware. Yes, sir. They're aware.
I just want to make sure we know where we're going, because we only meet so often for the board.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
That's all I have for my committee.
All right. Any questions? Director Leggett?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. And also, again, we offer our condolences to you and also to Beverly on the loss of your family members. It was announced also in our committee meetings,
Thank you.
and it was brought up that maybe we should have one meeting with all of the with the committees with staff, because it seems like we continually having staff to come back and tell us the same thing over and over again. So we're just duplicating the service to have staff give us the same thing. But it's not really too much to give you an update on. We just was briefed on a lot of active service that we're getting from CAT. So again, kudos to all the staff and the updates that they've given us. And I think you might need to take into consideration of having our committee chairs get an update from staff at one time, instead of forcing staff to continuously say the same thing over and over.
Yes. All right. I appreciate it. That's all we have. I want to thank you also, Director Leggett, and everybody else who reached out to me for their support. I just want to thank everybody for that. Do we have
Still have Clinton's committee?
Director Emister?
I don't have many updates from the stakeholder committee.
All right. All right, moving on. Do we have any old new business that the committee would like to have considered? All right, and our next meeting is listed below. Our regular board meetings are scheduled for March 23rd, and the board first budget workshop will be held at the end of the month on the 30th.
Do we have a time for that yet?
Don't have a time, but I will make sure we get that out to you.
All righty.
Yeah. All right. I want to thank everybody for coming, and we're going to adjourn the meeting at this time. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Leave.